During an appearance on Fox News this week, Kellyanne Conway may have accidentally let it slip who Donald Trump is considering as his vice presidential pick. Now, we are firmly, by the way, into the so-called Veep stakes, right? This is the time where everybody's jockeying for that second position on the ticket. I've talked about it, obviously, but Kellyanne Conway let something slip during that Fox News interview that indicates that Trump has already made the pick. In fact, Trump himself has indicated that he already knows who he's going to pick. Kellyanne Conway has been very close to Trump. She is now very much embedded into the Republican Party itself, likely almost as a mole, I guess you could describe it, for Donald Trump. So when Kellyanne Conway says things like this, we should take her at her word. So here's what transpired. Kellyanne Conway was asked by a Fox News host about Donald Trump's potential VP picks, and after she rattled off a couple names, including, for some reason, Marco Rubio and Tom Cotton and Mike Pompeo, she then said this: "I think that Tim Scott checks a lot of the boxes. Somebody who dropped out of the race and is actively campaigning for President Trump, but who will eat into this notion that the Democrats have a lock on African Americans, Hispanic Americans, Asian Americans, union households. Senator Scott is very articulate when it comes to the issue of abortion. He seems to be able to explain how the other side is extreme and what it means to be pro-life in 2024. But here's the thing. Tim Scott does check a lot of boxes, right? He's a living, breathing human being. He's an American citizen. He currently holds an office, and he's black. Because Republicans think that, hey, if we just put a black person on the ticket with Trump, all of the non-white voters are going to be like, hey, they're the good guys now. Let's go vote for them. That's kind of dumb, because you're not going to shore up Donald Trump's weaknesses on the ticket if you pick Tim Scott. But I agree with you. Tim Scott has, ever since he dropped out of the race, he's become a very loyal Trumper. He's out there campaigning with him. Even when Trump's kind of jabbing at him on stage, Tim Scott sits there and smiles politely, because that's what a good little Trump lapdog has to do. But Tim Scott doesn't help bring new voters into the fold. Donald Trump is currently in the process of turning off many non-white voters here in the United States, including a lot of the Hispanic population, by the way, in Florida. And that's a very important thing, because typically our Hispanic population in Florida tends to break for Republicans, but they're getting a little angry about the immigration policies of the right. So they're actually losing support, and they think, oh, well, Tim Scott's going to bring them back. He's not going to do that. But there's another comment, because another name's been floated a lot recently, and that, of course, is Elise Stefanik, the leader of the House Republicans. Kellyanne Conway kind of took a jab at Stefanik and said, quote, "Elise Stefanik, I think, is actively auditioning for the role of VP." So she went through all these other names, not just the ones I mentioned, but she also had Senator Katie Britt, Joni Ernst, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Kristi Noem. But she took a dig at Elise Stefanik. And Kellyanne Conway out there talking, by the way, is usually talking for Trump, at least in the past. And if that trend is continued, then I think it's kind of a safe bet at this point to think that Donald Trump is leaning more towards Tim Scott, and possibly that he thinks it's hilarious that Elise Stefanik is embarrassing herself trying to become his VP. Well, folks, we have crossed that 1 million subscriber milestone, but rest assured, we are just getting started here at Ring of Fire. So if you're not already, please do subscribe to the channel and make sure to like, share, and comment on the videos.